I remember flying from Johannesburg to Mozambique and just being glued to the window, and it was really different scenery, and just being so excited to find out, because I had no expectations, I had no idea what to expect. And we landed in Maputo out on the runway and got out straight outside, and the air smelled different, and I think we were excited and terrified, and I just had no idea what to expect.
Landing in Mozambique was really interesting. It reminded me of being in Brazil, actually, where I'd been before, and just seeing a lot of the similar architecture and a lot of poverty and people on the streets.
Each summer we take the students who have been up to Isla Cross or Dylan the previous summer, we take them over to Mozambique, and they work in Masinga Rural Hospital, and they stay at the CFCS, the Centro de Formação Contínua de Saúde de Masinga, the Center for Continuing Education and Health of Masinga. And that's a program that's a collaboration between the University of Saskatchewan and the Mozambican Ministry of Health.
Mi nome es Isabel.
Isabel é fisioterapista.
Eu me chamo Oriana.
Oriana também de medicina.
I think I was still a bit in a daze when we were flying over to Mozambique. Everything was so busy leading up to going there that I hadn't spent a lot of time mentally preparing for what it would be like once we were there.
I have a great picture of our first tour of the village, and one of us looks shocked, and another looks thrilled, and another looks scared, and all four of us had really different expressions on our faces, and it just totally captured what that first walk through the village was like. It started to pour, and we ran into a teenage mom invited us into her home, and so we hung out in there for a little bit, and it was a little bit shocking, but really interesting.
It started raining, and so a few of us ran into one of the houses and asked if we could. We asked, can we come in, and just ran into one of her little huts. And so you walk in, and you can't stand up, and it's, you know, from here to that wall, and very small, and then one kind of sheet hanging down and dividing the two rooms, and that's it.
How many people are there? Even in Canada, very, very poor people generally have a house or, you know,
place to go,
a cupboard, and you know, it might not be that much different, but
it's bigger.
It's
more space. We have
a little
more
bit more space. Although, you know, in Canada, maybe there's more people living in one small apartment than if they're living in poverty.
Atenção. Na memória de África e do mundo.
Moçambique, nossa terra gloriosa. Pedra a pedra construindo um novo dia. Milhões de braços, uma só força. Ó pátria amada, vamos vencer.
I've always been interested in sort of international stuff, and I don't know if I would have gone on my own, but this presents the opportunity to sort of dip your feet in and see what it's like and see what it's all about. I think for me, as a physiotherapy student working with med students and dental student, I think it's a really unique and really important opportunity to work together and see what we can do.
The clinics in the hospital are a little bit chaotic compared to what you would find here. People just come in the morning and line up, and there's huge lineups, and there's people just hanging out for hours. Sometimes things go really fast, but there's only so much that they can do, so the lineups actually do move fairly quickly. You know, they ran out of paper, they ran out of charts and things like that, and you just would never think of that happening here.
This is the home base for public health, so they keep track of things that have happened, like the frequency of vaccine coverage, frequency of malaria, frequency of other things.
My role here is in Mozambique is to help the students gain an experience in pediatrics and in general medicine so that they can see from not just clinical medicine here in the hospital, but also how health is determined in all areas of this society.
I think the thing that I noticed most was how noticeable illness was there. Here, people are sick, but you don't necessarily see it. It's a lot of internal diseases, people walking around with heart disease or diabetes, and you can't see that. But in Mozambique, in Masinga, where we were, you saw people with horrific diseases, crippling diseases, people who had been affected by polio, or people who couldn't walk or had deformities, and you don't see that here. People get fixed here, and it doesn't happen there.
So I don't think that she's incarcerating anything. She's just...
Malaria. So every kid that came through pediatrics almost got malaria treatment, and one of the nurses actually called us on, because every time we diagnosed malaria, we'd kind of say, "Oh, malaria again." And she said, "Why are you doing that?" And we said, "Well, there's no disease in Canada that's prevalent, that, you know, every kid has that same diagnosis, so it's just kind of different."
You know, when I'm at Francisco and I seen the little hut, and then I see that he had gathered some roots there, and then right away hit home. You know, our traditional medicines, they're similar. You know, the way they do their medicines, the way they use their medicines, same as the way we do back home. To have people come and visit me right in my hometown in Dillon, and to have them come and sit in my sweat lodge was very special, especially from Africa.
Even though James is from the same province as I am, the same country, that he can make those links a lot easier than I can, and he can see the similarities a lot easier than I can, and feel the disparity in a way that I can't imagine.
I think making the links is all about perspective. And it's perspective, like, because we're so used to seeing the world in one way. And then our first summer we go up north and we learn to see our own small little million-person community in a new way. And then we work in our own city, which is even a smaller community, and we try to see it in even a different way. And then finally making links brings us all the way here to see, just try to see like our global village, to use a cliche. It's to gain perspective and to appreciate what we have and appreciate what we don't have.
Although it's hard to look back and identify the changes that it's made or how it's affected my life, I really appreciated the experiences that I had through making the links, and I don't think that I would have gotten anything like that anywhere else.
I think that I always did want to do some rural work or some international work, and so it's given me a more realistic expectation of what that's going to be, and so it's I won't be going in with kind of a rosy picture of that it's all going to be wonderful and great. I kind of know what some of the obstacles are and am better prepared to deal with it, so I think that it's strengthened my resolve to work in some underserved areas, but I'll be a little bit more realistic about what that's going to mean.
At the College of Medicine, we want all of our programming to reflect social accountability. That idea that we're here to serve a population and we need to continually look to what gaps are there and seek to address them.
Everybody, I think, believes that if we're ever going to achieve that social accountability, that we have to put our students in those environments where they can experience both the community in which the need exists and the health care provision that is there.